Yeah, guys. Yeah, Patriots are building a wall. I just heard about this. This is great. This is great news. It's great because it validates how much we don't need the damn government. Our government's so damn incompetent as it is. I love it. I don't care what the neocons were saying on Fox News today. I just watched a little clip. Man, those neocons over there just talking shit, just trying to downplay it. Like, oh, it's only one little section and they don't need to be arming themselves. We don't need militias at the border. We should be able to take care of it via the government. I'm like, the same incompetent government that wants to impeach the president 24/7, worried about doctored videos on Facebook, that government, that's who we should be putting our faith into. Like, get out of here, man. I'm so sick of Fox News. I really am. I can't hardly watch it outside of Tucker. It's freaking neocons. Can't stand them. Yeah, guys, give it a like on the way in, as you guys know. And before I get started, I need to give a shout out to my guy, Conservative Resurgence. If you guys aren't subbed to his channel, he does like a narrator style video recording process, whatever. Basically, his videos are, he's not in them, but he's narrating and he has graphics and all that stuff. He's a cool channel. Anyway, he gave me a shout out. And since then, I've gained like 500 subs. So if you are new to the channel, thank you for taking the time to check out my channel, and shout out to my guy, Conservative Resurgence. Appreciate it. Now, I'm not just going to talk about the wall. I'm going to cover like 3 or 4 things. And one of them is not the Robert Mueller, whatever that thing was today. It wasn't really a press release. It wasn't a conference. It was just him saying what we already knew. I think he just wanted to clear his name once and for all. Like, I'm done. I investigated. I don't want to testify in front of Congress. What you see is what you get. Take it or leave it. I think that's what he wanted to do, and he wants to ride off into the sunset. So good for him. But don't expect me to cover that, because I don't care about the Russia investigation. I never did care about it. So that's that. I just want to get that out of the way. But over the weekend, we had a private company building sections of the border wall on private land, something that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers said was not possible given the geography of that land. They did it faster, they did it cheaper, and they didn't need the government. I love stories like that. So these are the most feel-good stories when patriots, Americans, people of this country push the government aside and get things done ourselves. There's a story from early in the year where this little kid in like Michigan somewhere, right after winter ended, you know how there's like potholes in the streets. The city had said they were going to fill in the potholes on his street, and they never did. So he went in his yard, dug up some dirt, and went and filled the potholes in the street himself. And all the neighbors on the street gave him money. And he wasn't even trying to get paid. He was just like, I'm sick of the potholes. My mom had to take her car to the mechanic like 3-4 times. And he did it himself instead of waiting for the government. So see, that concept can be applied to every single aspect. And I just love it. It feels good, especially when our government has tripled down on insanity and incompetence. They've done nothing. They've done nothing since this session began. What has it been? 5 months? Going on 6 months. They have passed 0 legislation. It's just orange man bad, 24/7, lather, rinse, repeat. And people are tired of it. But the guy on the news, he was real excited. He's like, yeah, we over the weekend we got a 1/4 mile built. And then the guy, some lame duck. I don't even know half these people on Fox News. I really don't, because I don't watch the morning news. But anyway, one of the guys is like, yeah, but it's such a tiny section. There's over 1,600 miles that need to get built. He's just being a wet blanket up there, man. Like, just hating. Like, who cares if it's only a small section that's getting built? It's getting freaking built. That's all that matters. And we're doing it without the government. And it was crowd funded. I think it was from that GoFundMe from earlier in the year. So we don't even need Congress. We don't need it. I mean, this is all the more reason libertarians will love this. If any libertarians are watching, this is why we need to end the Fed. Because, I mean, what are they doing anyway? What have they wasted our taxpayer dollars on? They've spent it on Russia collusion. And their salary, what are they doing? They're doing nothing. They're not passing any legislation. They're just tiring us out. I'm worn out already. I'm sick of hearing about Congress. I'm sick of hearing about Russia. Sick of hearing about Trump's tax returns. And they're just, you see how I get so fatigued? I don't know how other YouTubers can talk about it all the time. Like every time there's a new thing, it's like, all right, we're going to pivot the story back to Robert Mueller. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about that. So I'm covering other issues, other topics. So who was it that brought it to my attention? Mama Ames told me about that. So, and there was a link you wanted me to share with people. Sorry, I forgot to include it, but I'll go back and do it later. But damn, oh, Joey said it's 10 minutes from his house. So it's on the border of Texas, New Mexico, I'm guessing. That's sweet, man. I love it. Okay, now we'll talk about something that's kind of interesting, kind of funny, but not, I'd say it's more funny than it is interesting or really important. So I don't know if you guys heard about it or not, but there was a massive KKK rally in Dayton, Ohio over the weekend. Some Klans members got a permit to go to Dayton, Ohio and hold this big racist rally. Huge rally. Did you guys hear about it? Just kidding. No, you didn't hear. You didn't hear about the rally because you're not supposed to hear about the rally because it's stupid. It's pointless. So let me throw out some numbers for you guys for this rally. Okay. This Klan rally, you know, Trump's America, white supremacy. The Klan is on the rise again. They're lurking in the shadows. They want their slaves back. They're burning crosses. They're going after the blacks. That's what they want us to believe, right? The omnipresence of white supremacy lurks around every corner, Mike. You never know where it's going to be. Anyway, 8 people showed up to this. 8. A total of 8 Klansmen. Okay. 350 cops to defend these guys, to protect them. 600 protesters, ranging from the New Black Panther Party to BLM to Antifa, some other rando communist fascist groups, socialist groups, and some random like church prayer group. All in all, $650,000 in taxpayer money wasted on police force and security to defend 8 retarded racist people. 8. Not 12, not 15, not 100, not Charlottesville. 8 people. That's Trump's America. That's what I'm supposed to be afraid of. 8 Klansmen that had their faces covered. So where I got this information from, because I didn't know anything about it, was Tim Pool's new channel, Subverse. I was going to make a pre-recorded video and include clips, but I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike because they might be kind of sensitive on that. But there was no way for me to really articulate it without giving you a visual of this rally because they were there. Subverse was there, and they put microphones in people's faces, mostly, you know, just the protesters. And it just, the whole thing looked ridiculous. Talk about being over-prepared. I'm talking like they had guns off of their waist. It was open carry. It just looked ridiculous, guys. And 600 people showed up to protest. 8 people, 8 guys got a permit, caused all this melee, caused a bunch of people to show up, caused taxpayer dollars so that they could be seen being racist in public. 8 guys. They probably all rode to the event together. Somebody went to Avis and rented one of those big passenger vans and they rode to the freaking rally together. So stupid. But that's what the media does. They prop up these racists that are statistically irrelevant to try to use it as a straw man. And for those protesters, they had to be feeling pretty dumb. Like, oh, I thought Trump's fascist USA was on the rise, but only 8 people show up. They showed up looking for a fight. They had guns drawn. They were shouting obscenities. They were flipping people off. Anyway, my whole point about it is this just goes to show you how much the media can lie and trigger a response out of people. Because I don't even know how BLM and these other groups have even caught wind of this white supremacist group meeting. 8 guys, again, 8 total people. You have to wonder, were they just trolling for attention? Why couldn't they just do a group text? Just be like, hey guys, I hate blacks and Hispanics. Do you say yes? They could have just did that. Like, whose attention are you trying to get? What's your end game there? Do you think there's going to be random white people walking down the street while you're holding a Klan rally? And they're going to be like, what's that over there? I'm going to go join that. That looks interesting. You hate black? Yeah, I think I'll do that. It's not like you're walking up to a booth at a freaking fair or a gallery, but they wanted to meet in public anyway. And for these 600 plus protesters, they were, it was really hard to describe because they were so passionate. A lot of those people were really emotional. They were angry. Some people were brought to tears. They were just yelling. They're like, Black Lives Matter. They were saying Black Power too. So I'm like, okay, you're fighting racism with racism. But then it's like, why are you shouting stuff like Black Matter to white supremacy? Who are you trying to convince? Are you trying to convince yourself? Are you really that threatened and intimidated by these people who see themselves as superior? Because if you are showing intimidation, you effectively agree with them. You're validating them by you showing fear, by you having any kind of emotional reaction. Isn't that what they want? Don't they want to see black people upset, frustrated, scared, angry? That's what they want, instead of looking at them like, who are those idiots over there? They don't have control my life. I mean, these people, they don't have any power, no political power, no economic power, no social influence. They can barely have Twitter and social media. Think about it. Who in America can be an openly proud white supremacist? Who is confident enough to go out in the street and be like, yeah, I'm a white supremacist? Think about it. The left doesn't even want people being white in America. It's not even okay to just be plain old boring white. So who is going out there as a white supremacist? And yet this is still the ongoing narrative. It still is. They're like, yeah, Trump is their ally in the White House. Trump doesn't denounce them. Trump dog whistles. He winks and nods to them. Even if that were true, it goes against everything else Trump does, his actions. How do those white supremacists, those 8, I wish I could say it like ABL, white supremacists, if there were 8 of them, let's say there's 1,500 nationwide. Donald Trump had more than 1,500 black people at the house, just at the White House, just during the Young Black Leadership Summit. He's had more black people at the White House than there are white supremacists in the country, coast to coast. So how do they feel about him signing prison reform, lowering the black unemployment rate, trying to clamp down on Roe v. Wade and overturn that, which kills black babies? I said this on Twitter a few months ago. If I were a white supremacist, I know this sounds crazy, but bear with me. If I, Mike, were a white supremacist, a racist, a Klansman, whatever, if I were any of those things, would I support Trump or would I support the Democrats? Based on how Black America looks, would I be for school choice? Would I be for prison reform or the Urban Revitalization Act? Would I be for Trump giving young black conservatives a platform at the White House? Would I support that, or would I support the status quo of big government, welfare, Section 8, and genocide in the womb? Just saying. So how can the media still be so dishonest and still glue these fringe wackos to the president? That's all I wanted to say about it, because I just thought it was hilarious, man. I thought it was hilarious. Like, you got 8 guys that showed up in one freaking Avis rental van together, covered their faces like cowards, stood between them and the 600 protesters were 2 big barricades of fence and armed police officers. And they stood in a little corner, huddled up, waving their flags. They actually weren't saying anything back because they were drowned out by bullhorns and all that other stuff. They're just standing there. And it's just crazy how many people showed up because they thought that there were going to be thousands of white supremacists. Don't get me wrong, like the Charlottesville thing, That was a larger number, but we won't go down the rabbit hole of who might have orchestrated that and if that was astroturfed and not grassroots. We won't go down that path, but you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Outside of that, there have not been any white supremacist rallies. I mean, if there are, they're finally not getting covered, because that's the thing too. They act like because Trump got elected, now all of a sudden there's all these white supremacist sleeper cells that are just being awoken. Like, oh God, thank God we have Trump. Now he can give me my marching orders. Now I can go out and be hateful. Like they needed Trump to be hateful. Like all of a sudden the Klansmen, they're on the rise again. I mean, you mean to tell me we had a black dude running the country for 8 years, a black president, and there weren't white supremacists marching, burning crosses in Georgia and all these random places in the country? You mean to tell me none of that was happening? And all of a sudden, now they got Trump. He's like, make America great again. They're like, y'all boys hear that dog whistle? Time to go be racist. Come on, man. Who's buying it besides the people who are already so deeply brainwashed? I just think that's hilarious, guys. That was the funniest thing to me. So I wanted to make a longer, like a video about it, but I just decided I'll just cover it in this live stream. And there was one other thing I wanted to cover. I was so pissed yesterday. I did a live stream on Facebook talking about the Netflix trying to boycott Georgia. Now, remember, Hollywood already tried to do this. They did it in the 2018 midterms when Stacey Abrams wasn't elected, and they sent all their money down there. They had all their resources. They had Oprah endorsing her. They had the cast of Always Sunny in Philadelphia knocking on doors like, please vote Democrat. Please vote for Stacey Abrams. Republicans are racist. She had everything backing her. And she was a sacred black cow. She was a sacred intersectional cow, black woman and Democrat, untouchable, right? So she could use, she was shielded by all the victimhood cloaks. I'm black, I'm woman, you're racist, you're sexist. Boom, easy. And if I lose, it's because you're racist and sexist. And also because black people are too stupid to get ID and voter suppression is so real. I won't concede the governor's race, blah, blah, blah. Well, celebrities came out and were like, we're going to pull our money out of Georgia because you're a bunch of bigots. We don't like you anymore because you don't think the way we told you to. You don't share our values. We hate you, Georgia. It's the same old BS. It's the same old song and dance from Hollywood. Remember, if Donald Trump gets elected, I'm moving to Canada. Every single one of them still here. Every single one of them. They're still right here in the US of A. They didn't leave. They talked about boycotting Georgia over Stacey Abrams, and now over the heartbeat bill. Netflix stepped in. A faceless entity, not just some random celebrity spouting out, shouting into their echo chamber on Twitter. We're talking Netflix. Who is Netflix? It's nobody. It's a group of people. It's an organization. It's a company. It's a brand. So the brand saying they're not going to film any projects in Georgia. And it just pisses me off because they continue to do this. They continue to threaten and intimidate and try to lecture the country. This is why Trump won. This is why Trump's going to win in 2020, because it's going to feel like the country is flipping the bird at the establishment, at the liberal elites. Now, politics in America is really making crystal clear sense to me now, whereas it didn't really as much before. Like shortly after the election, I knew that there was an establishment, but I still saw it as like left, right, Democrat, Republican. It's not even about that anymore. Like neither of the parties really exist. Like who are the Republicans? Do we even know who they are? It's the party of Trump. Trump hijacked it, made it the party of America. The Democrat Party got hijacked, and it's like socialist, communist, globalists, all the anti-American stuff. That's what the Democrat Party is. But even more than that, it's the establishment versus the populist movement, right? It's the establishment. It's the elites versus the working man, the working class, everybody else. And so it makes really good sense to me now, more so than before, because all they're doing is they're taking everything that Americans value, that from all walks of life. This isn't just some, make America great again for white people. No, black people believe in the traditional nuclear family unit, that structure, right? Hollywood's pushing all the propaganda. Look how they destroyed the nuclear family. So see, they're directly attacking American values, which are family values, you know, working, earning an honest living, respecting the flag, science, that kind of stuff, low taxes, get the government off my back. All they're doing is they're just trying to subvert our way of living. But specifically with the nuclear family, you can see what they've done. What do they do? They attack masculinity. Like they're saying, you can't be masculine. Look at Gillette. Like you need to be a beta man and beta male. Start drinking soy. Just stop eating meat. Your toxic masculinity. And then women with the women's march and the feminist movement and abortion. Abortion is healthcare. Take care of your health. Your health. Look what they're doing to kids, right? Look what they've done. Look what they've done. Telling kids boys can be girls, boys can have periods. We don't need Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. We don't need separate sections of toys in the stores. Just blend it all together. Gender's a big social construct. They destroyed holidays. This is all propaganda that comes through the tail live vision. Who's on the tail live vision? Hollywood, entertainers, musicians, athletes. The dumbest people in the world have microphones, megaphones, and they're spewing out nonsense. And for those that want to destroy humanity, would they have it any other way? There's a reason for it. There's a reason why the stupidest people have platforms, because they can subvert the masses, because they can march through our institutions with this nonsense. All the nonsense from celebrities, rappers, the rappers. Don't get me started on the rappers. Don't get me started on the rappers talking about we're going to fund Planned Parenthood. We're going to send more money to Planned Parenthood. Oh, somewhere Margaret Sanger is so happy. So happy. And for the black gatekeepers like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Charlemagne the God, all these clowns that just telling blacks can continue voting Democrat. Well, LBJ's proud of you. But I'm the sellout somehow. Black conservatives are the real sellouts, people. What the hell? But see, I guess the point I'm making is like, it's the whole liberal. It's not even just liberal, because it's the Republicans too. A lot of the Republicans suck. Those pro-war, neocon, war hawk guys and gals, I guess. They're all two sides of the same coin. And so more and more people are going to see that now. They see what Congress isn't doing. They see we need a wall built. They see that they're trying to control the narrative. People are starting to wake up. People are starting to think for themselves. People really are. But they get turned right back around. It's like they wake up, but then the media comes up behind them with chloroform and just knocks them right back out. They fall right back into the matrix. I'm like, see, look, you're thinking for yourself. You know that doesn't make sense. You know that you can see that the media is strategically focused on certain aspects of immigration. They've conflated legal and illegal. They've lied on Trump. It's out in the open. I think the Mueller investigation really red-pilled a lot of people. A lot of people still hate Trump, don't get me wrong. But each passing day, it gets harder and harder and harder to justify the hate. It does. It really does, guys. And with abortion, it gets really, really hard to justify the mental gymnastics that you need to be okay with murder, right? And people can see, like I've talked to people within my sphere of influence, and they're like, yeah, something's not right. I see what you're talking about. Before they couldn't really see it, but now they see it. They're like, wait a minute. The left is against the death penalty, but they support abortion. They don't consider it life until it's born, but bacteria on another planet is considered life. Like, oh, we discovered life on Mars. Some bacteria. MS-13 are considered more human than children in the womb. And you know what I love is all these pro-life patriots going out, putting microphones in the face of these leftists. I don't know if you guys are subbed to the Liberty Hangout. If you're not, do it, because she's been going out pretty much, it seems like every day or every other day. She's going to these pro-life rallies or these pro-abortion rallies and talking to people, putting a microphone in their face and letting them spew out all the nonsense so people at home can see it. They're like, that person makes zero sense. And it's so clever the way that she does it. And I've seen other people do it as well. You don't have to win the argument with them. You just got to get them to admit that it's murder. Some of the signs that they hold up at these rallies are like, it's a hard choice for a woman to make. How's it a hard choice if it's not a life? If it's not a life, it's just like throwing away a paper towel that's dirty, right? You don't think twice about it. So what's such a hard decision if it's not a life? And then asking them, when does life begin? So you pretty much let them lead themselves off a cliff, and then they walk away. That's when they just devolve at that point. They short circuit. They don't know what else to do, so they start name calling like, "Oh, you're with InfoWars," and then they walk off. It's so funny. It's so funny, but it's so clever because people they're trying to justify it in their head. They're like, wait a minute, it is murder. But I'm stubborn. I got to dig my heels in. I've committed to the cause. I've committed to this position that it's a woman's right to choose. Yeah, it is a woman's right to choose, and she's choosing murder. See, I'm pro-choice. I believe in a woman's right to choose emergency contraception, choose condoms, choose abstinence, choose adoption. Those are all choices. I'm for those choices. So I'm pro-choice, actually, in that aspect. You got options. Choose who you sleep with, somebody just said. It's so common sense. It's common sense, man. You have to be convinced. You have to be taught to reject common sense. Common sense is intuitive. It's natural. That's why it's called common sense. Some of it is socialized, yes, but it's socialized based on generation after generation of people who had natural common sense. It is kind of a collective intelligence, collective common sense, I guess you could say that. But you have to be led astray from that to convince yourself otherwise. Think about all the species of life. Think of all the life forms on planet Earth. All the animals you can think of, birds, squirrels, turtles, geckos, llamas, dolphins, whatever. We're the only species that thinks it's okay to murder our offspring. And we call it a good thing. We say it's healthcare. She's doing the right thing for her. We're the only ones that do that outside of like gerbils and rats. I think they eat their young. That's disgusting, but I think it's true. So we're the only life form in the world that murders our offspring. Imagine if another animal did that, like, I don't know, a bunch of ducklings hatch and then the mom just immediately kills them. You'd be like, what just happened there? That's a flaw in the animal kingdom right there. You would be freaking out if you saw a mama duck killing her baby ducks right after they were born. And she's like, I wasn't ready to be a mama duck. The same thing with humans. It's like, you got pregnant. Sex is for reproduction. I mean, we obviously do it for other reasons than reproduction, but everybody who has sex knows what happens as a result of sex. But to murder the offspring, you have to do some serious mental gymnastics to convince yourself it's not a human. It's not a human. It's kicking you in the stomach. You're like, it's not a human. Nope. It's still not a human. Nope. Sorry. I don't believe it's a human. Joey said, hey, Mike, what's your take on MLK's womanizing? I really don't. I just heard about the story yesterday. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I guess it just really doesn't interest me a lot. I don't want to get sidetracked with these little stories. Because remember, guys, these stories are contrived. Why are we talking about MLK right now? Why is that coming up? Who's covering it? Why do they think it's important? I'm not saying it's not important, but why? Where does it rank in our list of priorities right now? That, and I don't really know much about the story, but it is a distraction. Most of these stories are distractions. We can't take our eyes off the ball. So what's important? Trump's reelection, weeding out the election fraud, building the wall, overturning Roe versus Wade, and destroying this public education system that has factory farmed leftists. We have to catch it upstream. The very minute we start fighting and bickering and worried about all these other random miscellaneous things is the minute we lose, because that's what they want. That's what they want. They want to like lead us down different trails. It's like the owner with the little laser pin shining at the wall so the dog goes in the direction they want it to go in. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing all the media stories. I fall for it. You fall for it. We all fall for it. You notice that, right? I think it was the Covington Catholic story. When that came out as a hoax, they immediately pivoted to the Ralph Northam thing. Almost instantly, they start talking about something else. And then when Ralph Northam got caught up with that infanticide thing, that's what I meant to say, not the Covington Catholic. When that Ralph Northam recorded interview leaked, what did they do? What happened almost the next day? He got busted in blackface. But it's not like he was wearing it the night before. It's from his yearbook. Somebody brought it up to take our eyes off of the fact that they're trying to normalize after birth abortions. That's what I'm saying, guys. These stories, they're interesting. They're just not important. MLK is long gone. His legacy may or may not be tarnished. It remains to be seen. That to me is less important than how future generations are going to judge us based on how we deal with abortion. You have people who are literally on the wrong side of history. Are our children's children really going to look back and say, I'm so glad we enshrined eugenics into our Constitution? Margaret Sanger wins. Are they really going to say, I'm so glad we allowed after-birth abortions in all states, all 50 states? It's government mandated, taxpayer funded, after-birth abortions are legal. Women can just do it out of necessity. Here's a punch card. The fifth one's free. That's what I mean. I want to tackle the bigger issues, spiritual warfare, right? The attacks from multiple angles. You know, we got to do something about our border because people coming over here, we don't know what their intentions are. Terrorists coming over here. See these little compounds, we stopped talking about those. Why did we stop talking about that compound where they were teaching little Muslim kids to be school shooters? Remember that? New Mexico, Alabama, swept under the rug. They forgot about it. They wanted you to forget about it, so they stopped covering it. They cover what they want you to think about. They want to dominate your main focus. They can fill your head with what they want you to think about. And what you think about, you're eventually going to bring about. So again, going back to this Klan rally in Trump's America, 8 white people who hate everyone got together. Oh my gosh, Trump's America. You got 600 people shouting, chanting, freaking out over this because they were told to. Sheeple. My man Hotep Jesus, shout out to Hotep Jesus. He tweeted yesterday a video from some like super pro-life, I don't know, blog or something. It was a phone recording. And I honestly, I don't know if it's real or fake. I wish it was fake, but I have a feeling it's not. And if you follow me on Twitter, you've already seen it. Or if you follow him, you've seen it. It's a video call of a guy calling into Planned Parenthood. And this is like high level. So like maybe executive level. I don't know. And he's like, I'd like to make a donation of $400. Can my donation go directly towards Black abortions? I want to fund African-American abortions. And she's like, yeah, let me get your name. Who do you make the check out to? Like all of that stuff. It was a whole freaking like 2-minute phone conversation. And that's not the first time I've heard it, to be honest. I've heard other anonymous phone calls where people are making donations specifically to fund Black genocide. How about my man Clarence Thomas yesterday? That's more important than MLK. Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to just poop on your little dream there. But man, Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court, I'm glad that he said what he said. Like, this is a way for eugenics. I think he said like manipulation, right? Because Indiana just upheld a something in their some bill that they passed where you cannot exterminate a baby. You can't have an abortion based on the child being black or being blind or something like that. Because, we now have the technology, the medical technology to detect all this stuff in the womb. Whereas before we didn't have that back in the 70s and 80s. We didn't have the medical technology to know if someone was going to be blind or if they're going to have autism or have Down syndrome. But we know that stuff now. So if a parent knows that their kid is going to be autistic or have Down syndrome, they can abort them. Clarence Thomas also said, because the left always makes this argument, I thought conservatives were for limited government, but they want government to outlaw abortion. Defeat these arguments, guys, because they're so stupid. You can defeat that argument easy because Roe v. Wade is big government. Roe v. Wade says that a woman can decide to end the life of someone else. And she can do it discriminately based on if it's going to be a boy or a girl. That is eugenics. That's eugenics. It's being practiced in other parts of the world. Iceland, where something like 90% of the women who get abortions are doing it for those types of reasons. Like, oh, the hair color. I don't know about this. The kid might have autism. Just get rid of it. What does our Constitution say? See, that's big government right there. When you're denying everybody should be protected, equal protection under the law, due process for everybody, the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness that includes people who haven't been born yet. So I love defeating that argument because who the hell are they to tell us what big government is and little government? They don't know because government is God over there. Bernie Sanders says I have rights. Yes. Bernie Sanders, give me rights. Government is God over there. So that's what I mean by the left making these arguments, trying to shift the goalpost. The leftist media trying to control us with these news headlines and these stories. You guys need to, I'm telling you, I want to be all lecturing over here, but you know what I'm saying? I see this stuff crystal clear. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why did they announce yesterday that Robert Mueller would be giving some stupid press conference today where he didn't take any questions? Why now? Why not right after the report was released? That would have made the most sense, right? Like, he just released the report. Here's his statement. Why did he let it drag on for going on 3 months since he turned his findings in? Why wouldn't he give his press conference right then and say, it is what it is. Here's what I know. Here's what it's. Why didn't he just give his summary? Why do we have to go through the whole thing with AG Barr? Why do we have to do any of that? And why are we talking about it now? Why do they want us focused on it now? Ask yourselves, what don't they want us focused on? What's going on behind the scenes? The Bilderberg meeting is happening this weekend. If you don't know what the Bilderberg meeting is, look it up or subscribe to We Are Change. I've known about the Bilderbergs for probably 3-4 years now. Mark Zuckerberg is going to be there. Jared Kushner is going to be there. You guys need to look up the Bilderberg group. Like I said, guys, this is warfare. There's a lot of stuff going on, and they want to distract us with these little tiny stupid headlines. And it's easy to get distracted because we're all here. We're all living it. We're surrounded by it. It's an ecosystem of information. And unfortunately, the shady characters are the ones controlling the information highway and what goes on it. Who controls the television networks and what goes on those networks? Look who controls Twitter. Look who controls Facebook. Who controls the people that control them? Because they have to be granted access to use the information highway. That's what I call the internet. So there's people behind the people that we're seeing and hearing about, and we can't take our eyes off of that. Someone said truth. Well, there you go. We know what the bread and circus is now. Bread and circus is for now. We do. We really do. So when I see these headlines, I'm like, the first thought that crosses my mind is like, man, I can't make a video off that. I can't have the enthusiasm for 5 to 7 minutes. I can't pretend. And there's so many other people that are already going to cover it. Because I'm not knocking other YouTubers that, like, Amazing Lucas covers damn near everything. And that's great. I enjoy it. It's funny. That's his shtick, his style. That's great. That stuff is funny, but it's also brings stuff to the light that we should be talking about. Same with other YouTubers, you name it, American Joe, ABL, whoever it is. We're all covering different topics, but me, I want to focus in on stuff that really gets me fired up. And occasionally I will still do funny stuff like Joe Biden or what's some of the other stuff I did, like AOC. See, I'll still do those kind of videos because it's funny, but then there's also some passion in me that comes out because a lot of it is they're just insulting the intelligence of all Americans, but especially Black Americans. And so I want to just push back as much as I can on this. And I'm grateful to have a bunch of people like you following, doing the same thing. Push back on their language. A woman's right to choose. Tell them what a woman's right to choose means. Stop using the terms people of color, African Americans. Screw them and their separatist terms. That's separatist language. POCs, people of color. You mean people? You mean Americans? Because that's all it is. That's all that matters. Americans. The whole leftist doctrine is antithetical to Martin Luther King. Since they want to talk about Martin Luther King. Whole thing is antithetical. Martin Luther King judged people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Merit-based immigration. Would MLK be for merit-based immigration or let them in because they're brown? I mean, you be the judge. It's common sense. Again, guys, common sense over nonsense. It's really easy. It's so easy. American, our colors are red, white, and blue. We don't care about these other colors. The left, they care about those colors. They care about blacks, whites, Hispanics. How tall are you? Are you gay? Cool. You can run for president. That's a qualification. Sweet. It's retardation, man. They don't want to say that word anymore. Well, that's why we need to say it, because someone says they can't. Someone says we can't say it, so we should say it. That's how I look at it. And flip the bird at authoritarians. I do it all the time. I've always done it. It's easy. It's easy. It's also fun, too. I think that's why I started rocking the Trump hat to begin with. That's why I became an outspoken, like bold, proud Trump supporter, is because a lot of it is just fun. It's fun to troll people. It's fun to flip the bird at people who think that they have the right to control you. That's all it is. They think they have the right to control us. They do. It's kind of us versus them. It really is, because they're authoritarians. Why do you think they show up in mass? It's all about mob intimidation. We're going to pull our money out of Georgia because you don't want to do abortions. We're taking money out of your state because you won't vote Democrat. We told you to vote for Stacey Abrams. We're taking it out. Or we're going to boycott Tucker Carlson's advertisers. You can't use Chase Bank. We don't want Laura Loomer on the internet. We will ban you. We will tweet you. We will boycott Facebook if they don't take down Nancy Pelosi's doctored video. It's mob intimidation. It's the mob. It's an angry pitchfork mob. And the sky is on fire for these people. They're always angry about something. So when they say conservatives are happier, it's not that hard to believe. It's just true. It's just true. So push back on these authoritarians, guys. All right, I'm gonna read some of your comments and I'm getting off of here because I've just been rambling for a little bit, but I had to. I had to get that out. It's got 89 people watching too. Appreciate you guys. I hope I got some new subs watching from Conservative Resurgence. Appreciate you guys. That was a much needed shot in the arm for my channel because it's been up and down for like 2 weeks. Really, most of May has been a Panda 420. First timer here. MAGA, welcome. Welcome to the Magnificent channel where I see I want to steal some slogans from my fellow YouTubers. Axe Truth, where I cut through the bullshit. Or Kevin's Corner, makes sense out of nonsense. See, I'm gonna get my own little tagline. I'll get something here. I've actually got some projects planned for this summer, so you guys get ready. Get ready. It's gonna be exciting. I got some things in the works. You guys are gonna really like it. Really, really like it. I'm working on some things this week, actually. So just stay tuned. 411 Vid said, great work, Mike. Appreciate you. Mama Aim said, because of the D class. Who's this? Deanna. Deanna says, if Tampa is as warm as Orlando, it's about 96. There's no being cool nowhere in Florida right now. I know it. I'm roasting. I've been roasting since last week, really. And since we're talking weather, prayers up for all the victims of these tornadoes that's going through Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Ohio. Just devastating. No, I'm not. I am looking for a house, but I'm not sure where it's going to be in Florida. But once I do land in my permanent residence, I will set up a PO box so you guys can start sending me suspicious packages, white powders, all that stuff. Just kidding, don't do it. But you guys will be able to send me stuff because some of you guys have asked if I had a PO box, and I don't yet, but I will soon. Stay tuned. God bless you, Mike. Now there's a high pressure system sitting in the Atlantic. Oh, wow. We're really going to talk Florida now. There's a high pressure system sitting in the Atlantic. Let's also pray for a mild hurricane season. We got off pretty easy last year. We had that one, I think it was technically a category 5 slam into the panhandle. So hopefully we don't have anything like that, because my first year here, I moved down here in August and Irma came through like 3 weeks later. It's like, hey, welcome to Florida. Here's a category 5 for you. Cover the whole damn state at one time. I bet you guys love the fact that legal immigrants are going to have to pay back all that welfare money, huh? See, forgot about that, man. There's so much to manage. The freaking welfare, the illegals, California. See, it's hard to measure, like, what is the biggest issue? What should actually be top priority? If you ask me, I think the number one priority is fixing immigration. I think it's actually more important than building the wall. The wall is important, but we need to turn off the faucet of resources, because that's what's bringing people up. It's essentially a magnet. They've been broadcast. There are like brochures being handed out in these countries that tell people how to get into America, what to say at the border, where to go, what to do. Here's the fastest route. We got to stop that. If we don't stop that, people are going to still keep coming. I think that's the number one priority, honestly, because if we can't take a stand and be a sovereign nation and do what we need to do, handle our business, then the country's over. It really is, because a lot of these people are going to vote Democrat. They really are. And I don't want to be like negative Nancy or whatever, but like, yeah, Trump should win in 2020, of course. Yeah. But do we really think it's going to be that easy? Do we really think it's going to be a slam dunk? Are they not going to, I don't know, harvest votes, ballots? That's what I meant to say. They're going to harvest ballots. There'll be voter fraud for days. People voting twice. People voting in multiple states. It's going to be a lot of that. Man, I guess the comments are coming in kind of slow. I want to be able to see them right as they come in. Oh, here we go. Live chat. There we go. Anyways, guys, appreciate you all for subbing. Thanks for the super chats. Shout out to the moderators. Joey Nificent, am I gonna have to change your thing to a blue wrench? I just don't see a lot of blue wrenches in here, so I don't know if something changed. And then I'm also working on the freaking broken URL link from my other channel. Got screwed up somehow. Anyway, I'll get that figured out. Mohammed Halabai, what's up? Said, can I have a shout out? What up? Do you have a channel or something? Appreciate you watching. Either way. DSJ DR. Tomorrow I'm ending it all, just saying bye to all you YouTubers. You guys are talking about weather right now? Okay. You guys are chatting amongst yourselves. I'm gonna I'm gonna sign off because it actually gets really hot in my house after I've been live streaming for a little bit. But I appreciate you guys watching. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're new, follow me on the social media accounts. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook, where I get 3 times, if not 5 times, the views on all my content over there than I do on YouTube, because I am shadow banned. Make no mistake about it. For as many subscribers as I have now, I should probably have 50 to 60 subs easily. Same with so many other channels. There should be no reason why I don't have at least 50 to 60,000 subs. Just saying. Anyway, guys, appreciate you. Signing off. I'll catch you in the next live stream and or video. Peace. In stream.